a title I know a lot of you have been waiting for. Obsidian Entertainment and Bethesda's Fallout New Vegas was released this past Tuesday, and I've been pretty much glued to my PC for the past 3 days because I just can't get enough. Before we get started, I need to make one thing very clear. This title is not going to revolutionize anything, nor is it going to bring any significant changes to the series. This is just Fallout 3 in Nevada. Otherwise, we've got the same graphics, the same gameplay, the same everything, just new characters and a new story in the same time period. If you liked Fallout 3, you'll like this. If you didn't, you won't. With that, if you haven't checked out my video review for Fallout 3, you're going to want to do that first because this video is primarily going to cover just the things that were different in New Vegas.
War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the Earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults.
Nevada, the area surrounding New Vegas, and the various factions that control the area are quite different from those that you experienced in Fallout 3. The New California Republic, or NCR, is the dominant military force here, thriving to maintain peace and get civilization back up and running. Various tribes of Roman soldier-like rebels known as the Legion have begun gaining power as well, as their leader, Caesar, has a vision of the future state of the New Vegas area that differs greatly from that of the NCR. A war between the two factions broke out years ago over the control of the Hoover Dam, as the one who holds it controls the majority of the power and water for the area. In addition, a mysterious man by the name of Mr. House currently runs the New Vegas Strip with his army of super robots, and he has his interest in how things should be run as well. You are a courier, selected to deliver a package, a platinum poker chip, to the New Vegas Strip, and the game opens with you getting hijacked, shot, and buried dead. You awaken shortly thereafter and find that a local robot witnessed your would-be murder and dug you up after your attackers left you for dead and got you to the local doctor. Obviously, your primary mission is to discover whom the attackers were and why they wanted the platinum chip you were carrying. Things get significantly crazier over time as you get involved with some serious politics with not just the three big powers in New Vegas, but with a handful of other lesser powers that want their claims to fame as well. The ending was a bit confusing at times because multiple parties want you to perform various actions on their behalf, so you have a bunch of quests, some of which overlap, but all lead to the multiple conclusions to the game. The ending is actually very cool as there are a ton of different ways that the story can end, and it basically summarizes everything you did, and you can see the follow-ups on pretty much every tribe, person, and companion that you interacted with throughout your adventure. It actually makes me want to go back now and try out things differently just to see the various different endings. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the entire story, from the hilarious side quests, to the tracking down of your attackers, to the political battles of the various tribes. Fallout New Vegas is freaking massive. There might actually be more content in this title than there was in Fallout 3. It took me roughly 30 hours to complete the primary story, as well as a significant number of extremely entertaining side quests, and I don't even feel like I scratched the surface of this bastard. I could easily spend another 30 or 40 hours exploring and doing more side quests. Plus, the inevitable mods for the PC version and the replayability of multiple outcomes gives you wonderful gameplay per dollar ratio. In one side quest, you have to get a solar power plant up and running and morally determine who will receive the power it generates, and another hilarious mission has you shoot some Scientologist ghouls into outer space. Who thinks this stuff up? One thing I didn't care for though is that you can't continue to play the game after you beat it. Out of the box this time, this game supports you leveling up to 30, but most of the perks from Fallout 3 that you may have considered overpowered have been nerfed to hell, so you won't be walking God any longer. Overall, I found the difficulty a lot harder as well, probably because there aren't hordes of Enclave soldiers running around for me to steal their power armor and plasma weapons. A new hardcore mode has been added that may be activated from the start that ramps up the difficulty and forces you to be concerned with food and dehydration, stimpaks don't mend limbs, and ammo actually has a weight. This cannot be turned off once enabled, but if you make it all the way through the game, you'll be rewarded something special. But my noob ass opted not to play on hardcore though. Other reviewers have claimed that New Vegas is littered with bugs and glitches, but I've got to say, I didn't experience any. The game crashed on me a couple times, but a patch was released that fixed that already. Being that the gameplay is nearly identical to that of Fallout 3, I'm just going to discuss the things that differ. You may now have multiple companions, and a new companion interface has been implemented that makes working with them a breeze. To me, it seems that the skills are far more important this time around, and it's quite important to be a smooth talker to get yourself out of many sticky situations. The crafting system has been greatly expanded upon. Besides having the ability to create items, you can now break down ammo and create your own ammo. This is a godsend, as ammo can be quite scarce at times, and you start with all the ammo recipes, so you don't need to worry about hunting those down. You can also cook meals at campfires if you have the right ingredients. In addition to having to constantly repair your gear, you may now also modify it as well. Some vendors sell mods like silencers, scopes, and special ammo that you may apply to your weapons to make them much more powerful. There's also a bunch of new items, including weapon repair kits and magazines that offer temporary stat boosts. Now, it wouldn't be Vegas without some gambling here and there. Throughout the various casinos you may play roulette, but most people want to play a new card game called Caravan. I tested this out for about 30 minutes, but even after playing several hands and reading the manual several times, I just couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. It's a pretty complicated game, enough so that I've already seen a few YouTube videos explaining how to play it. If you saved Megaton in Fallout 3, you awarded your own home to store your loot and rest up. I didn't find a way to get my own home in New Vegas, but as I gained reputation with several factions, I did gain access to some of their secret rest areas, and I eventually got my own rooms in several casinos in Vegas. But that was quite late in the game, so much of the time I was bogged down with several sets of heavy armor and tons of weapons. Finally, being that there are so many tribes and organizations, you really need to think about your actions so you can maintain respectable reputations with these people. If you do favors for one group, you're likely going to piss off another, so you've got some good replayability to go back and try things out differently. The graphics in New Vegas should look identical to those of Fallout 3. Granted, I played through on the PC version this time around, so I saw an improvement, but that's irrelevant. Overall, the game was a whole lot less dark. There's less radiation, less mutants, very few caves, and no subways. Basically, everything's just out in the open. The intro drew me into the game immediately as the narrator from Fallout 3 returned, and overall, I thought the entire voice acting cast was great, as there are a ton of characters. With that though, some of the lines of dialogue get repeated quite a bit from the non-unique NPCs. When you finally make your way to the New Vegas Strip, you're presented with wonderful 50s Vegas music, a dazzling light show, and a bunch of hookers and drunks. Ah, Vegas. Oh, and Nuka-Cola is back, but is greatly outshined by the new Sunset Sarsaparilla. Well, I loved all 30 hours of my experience with New Vegas, but then again, I loved all of my time playing through Fallout 3. I've seen a lot of reviewers knocking a lot of points from this title because it didn't bring anything new to the table, but I couldn't disagree more. The Fallout world is massive, and we only saw a small portion of what the world was like in the American Northeast. I thought it was a fantastic idea to keep everything the same and just give us another tale in the same time period in the western United States. I tip my hat to the developers. To be honest though, this is really more of a glorified expansion pack. If you liked Fallout 3, you'll like this. If you didn't, you won't. But is it worth the $50 or $60 price tag? For me, absolutely. This is a must-have for all Fallout 3 fans. What are your thoughts? Leave your questions and comments below. Check out the full write-up and screenshots over at ZeitgeistGameReview.com. Stay up to date by following me on Twitter and Facebook, and make sure to check out all of the other great gaming entertainment on the Game Station. Don't forget to subscribe and press the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.